My name is Elizabeth Araujo, and like I said before, I'm here on my own. I just happen to be here. I am here. I'm not representing anybody. I'm not representing the Mayans. Actually, the Mayans have nobody to represent them because they represent themselves. They don't have anybody abroad to represent them. And I'm not a speaker for Tata Alejandro either. I am here not as the wife of Tata Alejandro. I'm here like myself, and I appreciate if you recognize me rather than be the wife of. Okay. This is not an offense to or a threat to anybody. It's just a way, according to what the elders see that is happening, is that we have turned into the age of the women. We have to teach men how to love, because that is going back to the roots, going back to the way it was. There was a time when men and women, they were alike, and they were equal. And at that time, there was respect for nature. There was no violence of the natural laws, and there was peace. And then the invasion came. Invasion, a little over 500 years ago, that's when the invasion came to our countries, and they tried to destroy all the culture. They did not destroy it because it's still very alive in Guatemala, in South America, in the North. But there was a lot of damage too. And with that, it came the machismo entered when the invasion came. Today, we call it Kan. And it's the day of Kukulkan, because Kan means serpent. It's the time of the return of the ancestors and the return of the men of wisdom. And what do that mean, the return of the ancestors? Many people think that they are coming from heaven, or they are going to land here and show up, at any moment. They'll be here. But that's not what it means. Return of the ancestors means all those teachings that they left. When they left the wisdom, it was engraved in rocks, by the rivers, in the mountains. And this is why people go to sacred sites, because that's where you can get their words. So that is what's coming back. For 2012, that is the big thing these days. The Mayans, they say, we don't know when that's going to happen. It's not going to be on 2012, because what is going to happen on 2012 is something different. It's another event, but not what we call the end of the calendar, which is not end of the calendar because the calendar never ends. It's 1 year ends or one cycle ends and another one begins. Okay? The Mayan says, well, we will know when that day comes. We're not worrying about that day. We worry about today. We worry about every single day. And when that day comes, we will know. And after that time, then we can keep the right time again, because we can start counting from then on. So those are the things why they don't give an exact date. This year is called the Hab, and that's the year that has 360 days plus the other 5 days. That's the Hab, and that's pretty much used in agriculture. But now we have the other one. When they said, okay, we have the 20 days, so that's already set. But they say, now we have to divide this. It's too long to have 20 days without a break, a break. And then they said, we had to divide it somehow. And they started thinking, how are we going to divide it? We have to make like what we call now a week. And they say, how many days? So they say, well, we have 13 main joints. Like 2 here, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and this one 13. So that's going to be the week. So if you multiply now the 13 days of the week by the 20 days of the month, you get that 260 days, right? And that is equal to the time that of a human gestation, the time for a child to before it's born. So this is the one that, this is the calendar name. In Yucatec they call it Tzolkin, and we call it Tzolkij. If the calendars and all the Maya tradition was taught by some beings that came from the stars, and the calendar has been so perfect up to now, does anyone has the right to change anything? This is what the Mayans sometimes they resent that, because they say, Tata Alejandro has a saying that it has always been very hard for me to translate, because it sounds, okay, he says, what is of the Mayans, only the Mayans understand it. And it sounds like it could be a little prejudiced, but what it means is that precisely, that only the Mayans know the value of it, the true value, the true meaning, how long the ancestors work to come up with this sacred thing for us to be a benefit of us, and then someone comes and they change it, they put their own interpretations, and the Mayans stay all to, because they understand that they cannot add, they cannot take away, they cannot modify. It's just the way it is. So this is how we use the calendar, and this is why the Mayans don't change anything, and why nobody should feel free to interpret it as whatever they want to. It's always to keep that respect for the calendar. Actually, the days are 20, the names,
20, okay.
And 20 for everything.
Okay.
20, yeah. The other misconception is like, I explained how the prophets, or they brought the tradition, they came from the stars and brought the tradition with them to teach it here. So you will never hear a Mayan elder saying, I come from the stars. They say, we are from the earth. What came from the star is the tradition. But many people, they say, oh, I come from the stars, you know, and that can be a lot of, well, I don't want to go into that. We have seen, but this respect for the calendar, I have seen once, and I'm not going to mention the name because it's someone that probably all of you know. He came to, no, well, he's passed away, let's say. But he came to Guatemala and came to talk to us, and he came with a plan. And the plan was good business. This is gonna give some money. Let's put the calendar, like, you know the Chinese calendar that they place in restaurants when you go to, okay, they wanted to put the Maya calendar like that. And the first thing the Mayan says is to end up in the trash can. There's another important thing that I like to mention. You know, when you read books, they always talk about the sacrifices, that the Mayans did sacrifices. And that is one of the worst misconceptions, because the Mayans did not sacrifice. They didn't practice human sacrifices. But human sacrifices never worked.
You know, when you travel in the world, you are hearing a lot of the talking related to the Maya, but you have two paths: the end of the world, and a few, like this community, that they have the hope for a better world.
Yeah.
But what's more impacting the world is the end, claiming that the Mayas just did the announcement that that will be the end. So what the Mayas did think about?
The Mayans had never said that. Maybe the books that have been written about the Mayans are saying that. If you see, we already said that we are finalizing the 5th period of the sun. And we're still here. So this is another period to end.
What's coming?
What is coming?
Yeah,
Well, first we have to end this one, and we don't know when it's going to be.
So you can't.
And we don't,
Only
I,
the elders are know.
no, I explain you why they don't know the date. Because
But even whenever, what will be the next world?
it will be the 6th sun. It's going to be darkness for us. Because the rays, the sun rays, will not be able to reach us. Okay? So that's why it's going to be maybe 3 days of darkness. That's what I've heard. Could be a little longer. They don't know because they don't have any records since everything was destroyed. But they think that maybe 3 days, maybe a month, who knows how long. So when the sun comes to the other side here, then we see the light again. And it's a new cycle beginning. Okay? So that's why the elders say, we will know when this happened because it will be that darkness. Okay?
The Western world
Yes.
is talking a lot about the Mayas.
Yes.
So how the Mayas they keep themselves, that outsiders are talking about themselves.
Let them do their dance. Let me tell you, the Mayans want to share with the world. Okay? The problem is when they come, and maybe they come for a week to Guatemala, and they return to their country, and they are shamans already, Mayan shamans. Or they come and they change things. Or they start writing the tzolk'ih or the calendar with different interpretations for, totally their own thinking or their own perception. And this is what the Mayans resent, and that's why sometimes they are a little cautious. The other thing is like they come and they, maybe they, like with Tata Alejandro has happened many, many times. Can I have a picture with you? And then next time I see, there's in the internet offering readings. And then they have Tata on the side, like meaning he's my teacher, or I'm doing readings maybe with one experience that they had with them. And there's a lot of that. And not only that, but making lots of money with the tradition.
Mayas are not scared of 2012, and they are ready to celebrate 2013.
They say, if it comes sooner the better, they say. Because if it comes early, welcome to it. There is one group that is the 13 grandmothers, and I know many of them, but they are very exclusive, and they are doing their own thing very close to it. Now, there are grandmothers everywhere, and grandmothers are getting together in little groups. So the grandmothers are coming. To be an elder, it's not by the age, because someone can be 90 years old and be a child, right?